Estamos aquí gracias a la gestión que está haciendo Colonia Records, Cacique Entertainment, también aquí en Colombia, eh, representando pues yo al Templo del Rock, Medellín Rock City, otras comunidades en otras ocasiones. Y tenemos a Kobe from Orphaned Land, una persona increíble que conocimos hace unos años en el 70.000 toneladas de metal y que también vino a Medellín en una gira hace mucho, la década pasada. Vamos entonces a conversar de la propuesta de su increíble grupo. So, Kobe, thank you for having us, and so good to hear from you in this 2024. Let's begin maybe talking about some aspects of some things that you can tell us about having Orphan Land with more than 30 years of existence.
Um, Orphaned Land has became well. First of all, hello everyone. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me too. Um, I'm very happy to be with Orphaned Land for the past 33 years now already. Orphaned Land had become the mission of my life, and the purpose of my life. Um, Starting as a young teenager in the 90s, living in a region full of wars and conflicts up until this moment, which the conflicts are always getting worse and worse. It's always been inspiring for us to maintain our hopes and our lives and our messages. It's a very difficult life in many aspects, but I'm very happy to have music as my instrument and as my weapon, let's say. And Orphan Land, apart my family and kids, probably is the most important thing I ever did in my life, and I'm very happy that the band influenced many people, especially in the Middle East, but of course in the whole entire world. And I'm very happy to be a musician. Actually, it's a privilege.
Sí, Kobe nos dice que le preguntábamos algo, algunos aspectos de 30 años de carrera con Orphan Land. Nos dice que tiene 33 con la banda. Está muy feliz pues de que el grupo sea su proyecto de vida, su misión, su propósito. Y pues que la comenzó siendo un adolescente, de hecho. Es complejo a veces con la guerra y el conflicto porque cada vez se vuelve peor, sabemos pues lo que está pasando, pero que es muy inspirador y obviamente le da mucha esperanza seguir teniendo ese mensaje que tiene la banda a pesar de la dificultad de las situaciones, pero él usa Orphan Land como un instrumento y como una arma, por así decirlo, y que la banda y su familia son lo más importante para él. Okay, throughout all these years, what do you think are the most meaningful things that the band has overcome in its existence?
I think that the first important thing that we have created a new metal genre. Let's say in the 90s, when we released our album Sahara and combined all these Middle Eastern elements, we had created the genre so-called Oriental metal, a genre that many bands are following it these days, and I think that it will be a very big genre in the future.
Mhm.
It will still keep on growing and growing. The second thing is that we have succeeded with metal music to bring people together, people from different backgrounds, people who are considered to be enemies. Uh, you know, these days we are in the middle of a war that's going on between the
Mhm.
Israelis and Palestinians, a terrible war. And looking at our career, we are still the only metal band in planet Earth that ever toured with the Palestinian band. So the proof that we had succeeded to create and to prove that friendship is possible. For example, the Israelis and Palestinians do not succeed to live in the same country. We lived with a Palestinian band in a tour bus. These facts are, and the fact that we are dealing with problems of the Middle East in our music, these proofs that we had succeeded to do are the most important things that we ever did, because we showed to the people that if they want, it's possible. Not to live in the same city, not to live in the same building, not to live in the same country. We lived, Israelis and Palestinians, on a bus. We toured together, we eat together, we drink together, and we showed that we can live together. And these are the most important things that we did as musicians, you know, if we take inspiration from the Nueva Canción movement from the 70s, which is a very big influence for me, they gave a lot of humanity feelings to the people and hopes to the people. And this is what we always try to do with Orphaned Land.
Wow. Sí, le preguntábamos entonces acerca de su experiencia, obviamente de aspectos difíciles que han superado a través de la realización de vivir con Orphan Land y que obviamente han superado muchas cosas complejas. Más que todo ello, lo que sí él siente él más orgulloso, nos dice Kobe, es crear un género de metal, que es el Oriental Metal o el metal oriental. Es uno de los orgullos más grandes que tiene de haber mezclado este sonido con las sonoridades propias y los detalles que le han dado pues con la banda y que también han tenido un éxito en que a pesar de tener diferentes trasfondos, han hecho tours, han hecho un tour con una banda de Palestina, que no es necesario vivir en la misma ciudad o el mismo país, hablando de este asunto, pero que han coexistido todos en el mismo tour bus, han comido, han compartido, toman, ha sido algo muy, muy inspirador y creo que un logro pues para ellos, también inspirados pues por un movimiento de los setentas para este mensaje. That's so good to hear. Breaking barriers, leaving something historic in not only in the metal world but in history itself. Yes, because that's really really fulfilling. Is the sensation of creating this genre and trying to fit in the metal community different in the 90s, in the 2000s compared to now in 2024?
It was very new in the 90s, and people immediately embraced us when we released the albums with Holy Records, because they founded something from a very new territory, let's say. People knew that there is metal from South America and from America and from Europe and from Scandinavia and from Finland, but they wouldn't imagine that metal would come from the Middle East. It was a complete new experience, and the sounds and the melodies and the languages that we used was completely new, and people felt that the metal scene had become wider when they discovered Orphan Land. They felt like it's a global thing, metal is everywhere. So back in the 90s it was very new. These days people are aware of it. Of course, we have the internet, we have today many bands that follow the oriental metal genre. You could find easily 20 bands who are doing that. So today people are more aware, and this is a whole genre. So I guess this is the difference basically between the 90s and these days.
Nos dice Kobe que en los noventas marcaron una diferencia muy grande con Holy Records, que era pues el sello que los fichó en esa época. Era algo muy innovador para el Medio Oeste, al Middle East, y que también los sonidos, las melodías los sorprendió a la gente. Entonces los abrazaron muy fácil, la audiencia creció ampliamente y a través de Internet ya la gente ha creado como más una conciencia, es muy fácil toparse con ella. Que en este momento pueden haber más de 20 bandas con este estilo que han influenciado Orphan Land. Preguntémosle entonces qué fue eso de Holy Records, fue su primer sello. Vamos a preguntarle el siguiente sello. Then we got with Century Media, ¿no? I think, Marvel, one of the
Yes.
greatest albums I heard, man. I'm all into
No.
your
Celebrating
records.
20 years this year.
20 years of Marvel, wow. All is one. This was the tour here in Latin America back in
Yes.
those days. And how
Yes.
was the support of Century Media with your sound and with your groundbreaking aspects?
It was great. Ever since we released Mabul, which was the first Century Media release, we immediately got a wider press exposure, and we immediately started to tour basically after this album. Until that album, we played maybe two shows, one in Turkey, one in Greece. But when Mabul was released, we toured with Paradise Lost. We opened to the world. Uh, we arrived to Mexico for the first time after Mabul, and Mabul really opened us to all the places. So working with Century Media really made us jump to the next level. And Mabul is a classic, celebrating 20 years, like I said. And ever since then, our career became international.
Nos habla entonces, le preguntamos cómo fue el apoyo del sello Century Media, un sello que amamos mucho pues en Latinoamérica. y que fue absolutamente importante porque el disco Mabo les abrió la perspectiva a nivel internacional. Solo habían hecho 2 shows, por ahí uno en Turquía, pero ya luego con este apoyo hicieron tour con Paradise Lost e incluso fueron a México, ya cruzando pues otras fronteras. Vamos a preguntarle algo del aspecto de Global Metal porque es un documental que también les trajo mucha audiencia. Me being a teacher here in Colombia, Spanish and English, I use from time to time excerpts from the documental Global Metal. And I think one of the interviews that is key, I mean, we love Mas Cavalera, Sepultura, Latin America, but listening to you speaking about these real aspects in this documentary is very meaningful for the people. How was your experience with the documentary of Global Metal?
It was it was great. You know, we knew Headbanger's journey, and to be contacted by Sam Dunn was a great experience. We met in Wacken, and then he came to meet us in Jerusalem, and it was a great platform for us to explain to people about Oriental metal and about the fact that since we come from a place that is full of wars, full of desperation, full of sadness, it is most important for us to speak about the positive messages and to speak about hope and to speak about the light. The circumstances of our life forced us to be the band that spread the truth and spread the hope. So global metal was a great platform for us to spread those ideas, and many people got to know Orphaned Land because of this movie. So I'm very grateful to Sam Dunn until up to this point.
Le preguntamos cómo fue la interacción en el documental de Global Metal y Sam Dunn, que fue el que hizo Headbangers Journey, el primer documental pues de metal de su empresa, se vieron en el backend y los invitó a este siguiente proyecto. Sam Dunn también es conocido por hacer la gira del 666 de Iron Maiden, documentales de Rush, de Alice Cooper, entre otros, y de su canal pues de Headbangers TV. Y que ellos, ese aspecto de hablar acerca de la desesperación, la tristeza, la guerra, el mensaje de Orphan Land y las circunstancias lo llevan es a hablar acerca de la verdad, de la esperanza, de ser muy agradecidos y enfocarse en un aspecto muy positivo. Mm, Hate speech is very common nowadays with the internet. You know, it's one of the sad aspects. How do you guys handle those things, like people being so negative? Is it more difficult every day to try to keep up sane, the mental health, or really, really, Orphan Land in your life are nonstop spreading the positive message against all this hate online too?
Sometimes it's very hard, especially in these days where there is the war. Um, we had to face a lot of backlash. You know, when October 7th happened, so we felt so sad. We knew some of the people. Some of the people were Orphan Land fans.
Mm.
And we said that we stand with the Israeli people. We didn't say that we stand with the Israeli government. We didn't say that we support the war. We didn't say that we want revenge. We just said that we stand with the people. Like, you know, Chilean, like Victor Jara stand with the Chilean people, you know?
Yeah.
That was enough for people to leave Orphaned Land, to leave our pages, to dislike our pages, to backlash, to call us hypocrites, to call us in many names. And it is very hard because you are just a musician. You are not a politician. You are not a soldier. You are not anything like that. You are a musician. You are uniting people. And to see that people are pointing at you and accusing finger, it's never pleasant. It's never nice. And they always complain. Why don't you post about this? Why don't you post about this? If you posted about that, why didn't you post about that? So sometimes it could happen because we are not in the mood to post anything. You know, we are
Mm.
too depressed for the moment. But people judge you these days based on your posts. What you post is equal to what you feel or what you are going through, which is a complete false negative lie and disproportional. Uh, I could cry about you know, a dead Palestinian kid, and I didn't post about it. So if I didn't post about it, it means that I didn't do that. And
Yeah. Never
we
satisfied, man.
Yeah, we simply decided to not to post anything about that. We have our songs, we have our message, we have our lyrics. The feelings that are in our songs, it cannot be fake. You cannot fake those feelings. You cannot fake those lyrics. You cannot fake those emotions that are in the songs, whether if it's the singing or a guitar solo. So we simply, if anyone wants to leave, if anyone wants to be disappointed, it's a free world,
Yeah,
and we suffer from it very much. But we don't have anything else that we could do. Otherwise, we will lose our mind completely.
sí. Le preguntábamos acerca de todo el hate speech, la gente que es tan negativa en redes, que pues lastimosamente es como el lado oscuro de Internet también. Y nos decía que tenían que enfrentar mucha crítica, que el 7 de octubre fue una fecha bastante compleja porque ellos conocían, y de hecho alguna gente que estaba ahí que eran de hecho seguidores de Orphan Land en ese festival, pero que ellos están a favor de la gente y no de los gobiernos. Entonces la gente no comprende eso, politiza absolutamente todo y los mete pues en una sola categoría. Nos da el ejemplo, por ejemplo, de Víctor Jara en Chile, que fue una persona pues que habló en una época difícil en su país. Y que la gente es muy hipócrita, los llaman de muchos nombres, los critican a ellos y ellos son solamente músicos. La gente se queja mucho por todo y publica acerca de muchas situaciones. Entonces, si publicas, te critica la publicación y si no, también lo critica. Y ellos en ocasiones han estado muy deprimidos, obviamente, por sentir eso ahí. Y la gente los juzga, tiene falsas acusaciones fuera de proporción. Entonces, que a veces decían mejor no publicar, dejar las cosas así, pero sin embargo, la gente quiere que ellos estén ahí hablando de algo, dando su mensaje. Entonces, nos dice Kobe que uno no puede fingir las emociones, los sentimientos, que todo viene de ahí, que ya verá la gente qué es lo que siente. Yeah, being in Colombia and still a place with an internal war for more than 60 years, we really feel, part of this situation somehow. So we really understand because we really feel metal and these lyrics because we're still in that situation. Yes, we don't have like a luxury lifestyle here either, so it's very heavy. Okay, the last two questions. Let's focus on the last album that you released in 2018 on Some Prophets and Dead Messiahs, and the live album, no, A Heaven You May Create from last year.
Yeah. I think that Unsung Prophets and Dead Messiahs is one of the highest points in our career. I mean, if you take our album, Sahara is a very important milestone in the invention of the Oriental metal genre. Mabul became a classic, that opened us to the world. But I think that Unsung Prophets and Dead Messiahs is, let's say, Orphaned Land at its best. In by all means, the concept, the lyrics, the production. I'm very proud of that album, even though that this album brought me into some kind of a depression itself, because the album speaks about the concept of the story of the cave by the philosopher Plato. And this story tells that the problem is not that we don't have the solution to get out of the problems, is that the people don't want. It says that people don't want to leave the cave. If you can leave the cave and be in the outer world, in a philosophical way of speaking, but people do not want to do it. And that's a very depressing conclusion, to see that the solution is here, but people don't want it. Like I told you, we showed to people that we lived with Palestinians in the same bus, but the Israelis and the Palestinians do not want to take it. They see that it's possible, they don't want to take it, and this is very depressing. So it's a very important album and a very depressing point for me to continue from this point. Where do I take it from here when I know this conclusion? The live album is a great celebration of the 30 years of Orphaned Land, and it's a very big show with an orchestra. Every band is dreaming to do an album with an orchestra, and it's a very nice to do this in Tel Aviv in front of 2,500 people. This is a very impressive part of Orphaned Land. I suggest everyone to check this show, because you will see Orphaned Land at the supreme way, in a big hall with an orchestra of 70 people. And it was a great way to celebrate our 30 years and to rearrange some of the classical songs to a new arrangement with classical arrangement. So both of these albums are very important and I love them very much.
Le preguntamos a Kobe acerca entonces de la producción del 2018 On Some Prophets and Dead Messiahs. y acerca de los conceptos y las líricas nos decía él que de hecho es algo como un poquito deprimente porque se basa en la cueva de Platón. Te nos dice que a pesar de que pueden haber posibilidades de dejar la cueva, la gente no la deja. Y entonces nos compara eso también acerca de los israelíes y palestinos haciendo el tour en el mismo bus y todo, pero que no aceptan como dejar esas diferencias. Entonces, en cierta forma, es como no querer salir del mismo conflicto teniendo las soluciones. Nos dice que puede haber una oportunidad, pero no se toma, y que entonces se cuestionaba mucho para dónde vamos a partir de acá. Luego nos habla entonces del álbum en vivo. Y nos dice que fue increíble tocar ante 200. ¿Es 250,000 people that you play?
No, it was 2,500.
Ah, 2,500, sí, 2,500 personas. En el disco A Heaven You May Create, un cielo que podías crear, y que fue todo un honor igual tocar con una orquesta ante tanta gente en Israel, y también tratar de arreglar un poco las canciones, hacerle unos arreglos para que encajaran pues con este sonido de la música. Mm, all right. So I think we cover a lot of things, Kobe. Thank you for everything. Maybe the last aspect will be what are the expectations coming back to Latin America?
Um, we really need these shows. The latest era was so depressing. We are surrounded by death and by hate and by blood is everywhere. And we really need those shows. We need as probably as much as the fans want it, we want to play those shows as well. We missed our fans in South America. It's been more than 10 years, so we are looking forward to meet everyone and to celebrate friendship and brotherhood. Metal community was always very good, being a coexisting community. And I'm proud to be a metalhead in this world, and I can't wait to meet all the metalheads of South America in our shows. We love you very much.
Okay, so yes, I think it's true. We need each other, no? It's not only that we need the bands, but the bands need the fans. We have
Exactly.
mutual need, isn't it?
Exactly. We need the crowd because we need to get out of this circle of depression, and the bands are nothing without the crowd, and we need our crowd to I mean, we gave a lot to our crowd, but our crowd is giving us a lot back. This is a relationship between the band and the crowd is something that is very mutual. And especially in these days when we come from wars and death, we need the crowd so much these days. And South America is, except from Tel Aviv, is the first place that we will play. And we are looking forward to meet all the people and to play for them.
Ya, nos decía, le preguntábamos pues que las expectativas de esta gira, porque son 10 años desde que no vienen a Sudamérica y Latinoamérica, y nos dice Kobe que necesitan estos conciertos, que estamos rodeados de sangre y guerra, entonces esta sensación de estar de nuevo con los fans y de que ser algo mutuo, en que la energía que ellos dan también la reciben, es algo que de verdad lo necesitan, están muy orgullosos de ser fans del metal y que hay que salir de ese círculo de la depresión y Latinoamérica ayudará a esto. All right, Kobe, so let's say goodbye, like inviting the people to go to Bogota this next April 9th to your show in Colombia.
Hola everyone, Kobe from Orphaned Land here, and I invite you to Orphaned Land's show in Bogota on April 9th. Can't wait to meet you all. We missed you very much and looking forward seeing you. Cheers.
All right, thank you for your time, Kobe. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, but we got 30 minutes. And yeah, man, I hope, the light prevails as usual. And see you down the road, man. It's gonna be more historic again.
Thank you for having me, and it's been really fun seeing you again and looking forward to see you in Bogota.
Cheers from Colombia, my friend.
Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.